Guest today is Chef Andres Moraz, the chef behind Boca 31 here on the near south side. Andres, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Before we talk about your Latin street food restaurants, you have an extensive background in culinary food. I was reading on your resume. Talk about your background. You've been all over the coast, Florida, Spain, California.
So I was born and raised in California. I really started cooking because of my mom. When we were young, my father went to prison, so I had to step up and learn how to cook from my mom. She would leave us, a lot of things to prepare at home. So if I wanted to eat, I had to learn how to cook. And then I started working at my grandfather's restaurant that they're still open. They've been there about 50 years. They do carnitas, so they only open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I started working there when I was about 12 or 13. I remember making $4.25 an hour. So that was way back in the day. So I've always had a passion for the kitchen. And then out of high school, I was like, man, I got to do something. I didn't want to do construction because I was doing that in the summertime too. So I saw the Culinary Academy in San Francisco. And from there is really where I saw, like, hey, I can do this. It doesn't seem too hard. I know my ways around the kitchen. And then I worked in a lot of different places. I always try to work at really good places and learn from anyone from all the great chefs. So I worked in a Ritz-Carlton in Half Moon Bay under a French master chef, Xavier. He helped me out so much. I worked for the Ritz-Carlton in South Beach, San Francisco, Half Moon Bay, and then I worked for a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Spain, Aquelarre. It's crazy because you go from a big city to a small town where, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a cell phone, I didn't have anything, and all that's just old school mentality of just the way of living, and you really you see the difference in their culture, and you really are shocked how they live and how they operate and how they respect all the ingredients. And then I moved to Miami. I worked for a John George restaurant. I went back to the Ritz, that's where I met my wife. And we moved out here. And it's the first time I don't live anywhere close to the ocean. But I love it, And that's why we did the Latin street food, because I saw the flair they had in Miami, and I wanted to just bring something different.
So talk about the concept. We say Latin, of course, Latin America is huge. So we're talking about specific countries, or what do we mean when we say Latin street food?
I put the Latin on there because I didn't want to bring another Mexican restaurant. So if I was in Miami, then I wouldn't do empanadas because they're on every corner. I didn't grow up eating empanadas, but when I saw them in Miami, I was like, wow, these are amazing. These little pockets full of anything. So the Latin comes so we can be creative. My wife's Peruvian, I'm Mexican. And we tried bringing different cultures. So I had a good friend of mine help me open the restaurant. She was Puerto Rican. So we got to it just allows us to be more creative with the menu and really tap into different cultures without specifically saying that we're Mexican. When I want to tap into the yuca, when I want to tap into plantains, when I want to do a Cuban sandwich, I want to stay true to our brand. I don't want to go venturing off into other cuisines. I want to stay true to what we do. And like the other day, we did a Peruvian special. So it allows me to just be creative and have fun with different dishes.
Okay, so anywhere in Latin America, basically.
Anywhere, that's kind of, and Latin America is huge, anything could be Latin America. We go from Mexico to Cuba to all the Americas, so we can even tap into Spanish cuisine if you want to get technical.
Awesome. Well, tell us what we're eating right now.
We have our empanadas, and an empanada is just a vessel that you can just stuff anything with. So I've had the ones in Colombia and Peru, and all over Miami, and everyone really makes them traditional, but we do ours a little bit different. I've done some with smoked brisket, I've done some with pepperoni, I've done some with, you can put anything in here. So we have our ground beef and cheese, and we have our chicken and cheese, and then this is our guava and cream cheese, and it comes with our garlic crema, and then we have our cilantro mayo for our yuca, and then this is one of our staples, which is our Cuban sandwich. So the traditional Cuban sandwiches are on a different type of bread, but we do ours our style. We use our roasted pork, ham, cheese. It's a really good sandwich. It's just one of our most popular dishes here, and I wanted to showcase it. And the reason to touch back on the Latin American is we keep the street food so that we can keep the prices down and have people coming back and not worry about spending so much money. So that's why I keep it as the street food and nothing high end, because I want people to be able to spend a little bit of money and have good food and save their fancy restaurant for another night or something.
Awesome. Well, are these considered pretty traditional to the original, what you get in the streets in these countries?
So in the Cuban sandwich would be probably less pork on a different bread. Doesn't look like that. Like I never claimed to be traditional.
Okay.
The empanadas would be more of a Puerto Rican style, the way they fry them. In Peru they bake theirs. In Argentina they bake theirs. In Colombia they use more of a cornmeal recipe. This would be a flour one. So everyone makes them a little bit different.
Awesome. And you're leading some cooking classes? Tell us about that.
So we do cooking classes. I really like to just teach people how to cook. I teach my kids how to cook. I do a couple kids classes. So we do some steak dinners here, and then we do empanada classes, and then I just did a meal prep one, teaching people how to cook the basics of just chicken breast, pork loin, some vegetables, just the simple things that you can do at home to help save you money. And also, like when you're cooking together as a family, or you're building these memories. So like I said, well, my mom is the one who really taught me how to cook, and I'll never forget that time I spent with her. And same thing with my son, he spends time with my mother cooking in the kitchen, and watching them work together is just where we really create that bond. A lot of, we spend a lot of time in the kitchen, a lot of time in the kitchen. And it's important that, we use that time wisely, and it's not just like a chore, let's just eat. It's like, let's spend that quality time, let's build these nice recipes and these nice memories together that we can pass down from generation to generation.
It's beautiful. And when are these classes?
So we do them on the weekend. So we do Friday nights, usually steak nights, and then I have open availability on the weekend. So some people, we don't have a huge space, so we can do 2 to 6 people. And sometimes they're custom classes. Some people want specific things. I have a couple of kids classes, and some of these kids are really advanced, so I got to see where they're at. I'm like, okay, you guys are a level up. Let's go ahead and like kick it up. So, and then I do a couple of classes at the Ronald McDonald House. I go to different places. Then I'm at the Boys and Girls Club. I always just try to teach kids and get them involved in the kitchen, because it's something that they can always take with them in their future. They don't have to rely on going out to eat so much. I want them to ingrain the skills that are going to help set them up for success.
And do they get to actually use the kitchen?
Oh, they get to use everything.
Okay, they get
everything.
Awesome.
Some of the kids I gotta watch an eye for, but
Yeah,
even some of the adults. But I cut myself, I burn myself all the time, so
Yeah.
it's all right.
Well, I heard on a radio show recently that Americans don't spend much time eating anymore. They certainly don't spend a lot of time cooking. So you like to bring back that culture of spending time with the family in the kitchen, just enjoying the food. What are the benefits of that?
You create those memories. You're also saving money. You're also not in a hurry to eat. Like when I lived in Spain, everyone. We were there last year, and I was realizing, like, man, this is a 2-hour lunch. Like, It's taking a while. Like, we're used to like grab and go, and it's just like we're just so rushed here, and it doesn't really need to be such a rushed process. It's that they really take their time, and I really learned that European influence is something that they're not in such of a hurry. And I think just sitting down having a meal with your family together is big, because we didn't have that growing up. So I want to have that with my kids and to have them spend time. And I want them to just not say, hey, let me punch an app and get my food. I want them to go to the grocery store. I want them to see where things come from before they throw anything away. It's like, hey man, that piece of meat, was a cow that somebody raised, that somebody killed and slaughtered, and they had to go through this process to get to the store. And I want them to understand what it is, because now everyone just wants to just grab and go.
Somebody farmed this,
Yeah, this came from somewhere far away, so like it took a lot, it took a driver to bring it here to get to the store, and then for us to just throw it away or not pay attention to it, we're heading down a different path. So I really want to bring that back to the families, to the home, or someone who wants to build it, or someone who just wants to cook at home.
It's a great message, slow down, be grateful, spend time with family, and just enjoy the food that you're
For sure, it's just like I said, we're all in just such a hurry. We all have busy schedules, we all have bills to pay, but if you can even slow it down and have a supper with some friends and
family.
family.
Area where you can really do that with your friends and family.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I like about the cooking classes, is that we get to spend some time. It's a small class, so we get to build that bond, and then at the end I like to sit down and eat it with everybody. We're not in such a hurry, and I want kids to be able to like have that and be like, hey, this is my dish. That, hey, I showed you how to make an empanada, and now I gave you the basics. Now you run with it however you want, and then it's gonna be your recipe. All these things are, someone has made all these dishes before. I didn't invent anything. I just put my twist on it, like everything else. It's hard to invent a dish when everything's being cooked over and over.
Yeah.
So and just having having my son involved and having to do, like, his big thing is doing Rice Krispie treats, and like he has his flair to it and he has fun with it. It's just like it's his time to be creative. If you don't give them that time, then they're gonna think that they can't do that.
It's like their Play-Doh but with food. They can kind of mold it whatever they want. Make it your own.
For sure, just about
Yeah.
Food is, we're just, like I said, it's just hurry, let's grab and go, let's eat whatever, let's take our time and see the nature of it, the hard work that was put into it. I mean, everything's hard work in everything we do.
Awesome. Well, plug your social media.
I'm on Chef Andres Miraz. We're on Boca 31 Fort Worth.
Okay.
We're on Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook, I saw.
Yeah, those two are our biggest platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, follow this restaurant, and Andres, it was fun getting to know you and your passion for food and community and spending time together and family. All those things kind of come through with what you're doing here. We encourage folks to come by, check out some food, and try one of the cooking classes.
Yeah.
How can they sign up for the cooking class?
They can just message us directly or come in and they can talk to me. We also post our daily specials every day, so we like to do something different. We got lomo saltado last week. That's a Peruvian dish, so it's a Peruvian stir fry. There's a lot of Japanese, Chinese influence in the Peruvian cuisine. So it's a stir fried beef with French fries and rice. It sounds weird when I first heard it, but it's amazing. And then we have our pan con chicharrón, which is, when my wife first introduced me to it, I'm like, what? That sounds weird. And then I had it, I'm like, yeah, this is off the hook. So we're running that one this week. So it's a piece of fried pork, fried sweet potato in between bread, pickled onions. It's a staple in Peru. They have that for breakfast everywhere. And I was like, wow, like that's a real breakfast.
Lots of reasons to come here and come back. So, well, cool. Andres, it was fun getting to know you and your story.
Thank you so much.
And chatting with us.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.